Hello, welcome back. So today I figured I'd fly the F4 on the Heatblur Cold War server rather than contention, fighting its peers like the MiG-21, MiG-19, even though I don't even fight a MiG-19 in this, but you know what I'm going on about. You know, instead of please Mr. Flanker, don't fucking annihilate me. You know, the experience of contention with the F4. If you remember back to my A4 video, when I was raving on about doing a few little multi-role bits, bringing some bombs of some sidewinders and bombing a few frontline encampments and then going to do the air-to-air thing. And that's what I'm trying to replicate with the F4. I haven't got my eye in with the bombing computer yet because I'm shit. I don't like the idea of filling in a table with the A4. You just point the jet at the ground, press the button and yeet, and it kind of lands in the vicinity. I think with the F4 you have to have like be a bit more strict on your dive angle, and you have to get Mr. 3 million brain cells in the back there to lock the ground for you. So I've elected to take the walleyes instead, let them do the aiming for me. But Joe, why not use the Mavericks? Well, at least in this iteration of the Heatblur server on the 60 scenario, they don't let you take the special adapter underneath the sidewinders. So you have to just take Mavericks and then forego your sidewinders. I did try it and then soon realised I felt pretty naked without the sidewinders, because in the whole realm of jet combat, making those really cool gunshots is, you know, nice and all, but it's quite taxing on your fuel tank. And if you're shit like me and you can't aim the Phantom to save your life, you tend to just run out of fuel. So there's that. So not long after I released those walleyes on those innocent buildings, we're going to come across this MiG-21. Now, the fight between the Phantom and the MiG-21, with my limited experience, I'm not going to say I'm a pro in either of them, but the Phantom on the surface looks like it prefers a high-speed game, and you're going to see me try and use that in this fight against this MiG-21 pilot. And this MiG-21's going to constantly try and reverse his turns and draw me into a one-circle low-speed fight, and I'm not going to have any of it. Now, due to the fact that we're on the 60 scenario, both planes come equipped with really bad missiles, the R-3S, the AIM-9B, which I view are more like javelins. They kind of, you shoot them off when there's a target, basically just, they're either not paying attention whatsoever, or they're so low speed they can't even dodge the missile. Having these worse technology missiles on the server allows you to you're allowed to make the fights a lot more drawn out. You can use the vertical more, kind of like you can try and stall people out, grind them down, and it's less about trying to get on each other's six as quickly as possible to get the missile shot off, and more trying to do the whole sustained fight. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do here. I'm climbing up into space to avoid getting sucked into a one-circle roller. When the MiG-21 was reversing its turn, I was closing on him pretty quickly, so from that I can gather I was faster than him. Also, when turning into the vertical, the Phantom loses a lot less speed than the MiG-21. The MiG-21, despite having a superior thrust-to-weight ratio, its aerodynamics kind of just don't allow for it to maintain as much speed as the Phantom does. And again right here, the MiG-21 reversing its turn, and I'm just going to go straight back into the vertical. At this point I can tell, and you can visually see, I'm so much faster than him, so I'm really under no threat by doing this. This doesn't stop the MiG pilot from trying his luck. He tries to pull in and get a quite nasty gunshot off there, and if that would have hit me I'd be like, fucking hell, that would have been a GG and a handshake in chat. But this was not to be, and because the MiG-21 pilot did that, our speed difference has now grown even more, allowing me to pull back into the vertical and continue to dictate the fight. If he tries to follow me this time, he's just going to be a complete sitting duck and a very easy missile kill. And if aim actually enters the chat, potentially a gun kill. But he decides to dip his nose back instead, which was wise, and regain his speed. I delayed my turn here, basically to try and line myself up more on his 6 for a Fox 2 shot. As the fight gets closer to the deck, it's looking less and less neutral. The MiG is very slow and I still have a lot of speed. I'm able to use this speed to rate around behind him. At this point he's probably lost visual, so I get to spear him with my AIM-9Bs. So after dealing with that MiG-21, I go back to land and then I come back up again with a purely air-to-air loadout. This time not having any walleyes, but I do have a pair of sparrows with me, which I'm going to attempt to use in a sec here. But I take too long to visually ID the target, so I don't really want to risk firing at something that may not be a hostile. Slightly annoying, as that sparrow looked like it was about to track, but I obviously fired it too close. So into the merge with this MiG-21, going vertical. I'm going to attempt to fire another sparrow with a different setting on the speed gate, but unfortunately this one doesn't even track. Whatever his reasons, this MiG-21 continues to fly straight. He might have very well forgotten about my existence, but unfortunately for him, I am still here. EWR alerts me of yet another MiG-21. However, I see two planes up ahead in front of me. As it turns out, it was a MiG-21 chasing a friendly F-5. As the MiG-21 came head on, we're going to merge vertical so I can conserve energy and get on his 6 faster to help the F-5. I tighten down my turn as I see a Fox 2 opportunity approaching. This basically shows why AIM-9Bs are still useful. You can kind of like shoot him in between his turns, so he only really needs to fly straight for like a few seconds for it to be game over. After the brief MiG-21 encounters, I decide to gain a little bit of altitude in order to conserve fuel and prepare myself for subsequent fights. I end up seeing this Mirage F1 at low altitude. I originally thought he didn't see me, but as I look closer, it turns out he was pulling in for a gunshot, so I try and jink out the way. So merge now with the Mirage F1. I'm going to merge vertical. He doesn't, so this gives me a bit of confidence. As I come back down through my dive, I'm going to pull harder on the stick and try for a gunshot. So I couldn't quite get the rudder over there and I completely whiffed my gunshot because I'm shit. All is not lost though, as I have a metric boatload of energy that I can go back into the vertical if needed to try again. The Mirage pilot makes an aggressive play by pulling the stick harder to get on my 6 sooner. This won't lend him much in the long term though, as he's sacrificing a lot of energy for a potential missile shot that I can still easily dodge. I'm glad I made the decision to stay fast and not panic when he pulled onto my 6 as a second Mirage F1 emerges into the fight. I'm now planning to take this fight to the deck. If these two Mirage pilots attack from separate angles while I'm using the vertical, when I pull up into my climb, I will be a much easier target for a Fox 2 shot. The higher sustained G while rating on the deck grants more safety from Fox 2 attacks. As with these older missiles, they need to intercept my turn perfectly to stand a chance in scoring a hit. It also helps that the F4 enjoys a larger advantage rating on the deck against the Mirage F1, whereas when both jets are doing vertical loops, it seems more neutral. I am slowly but surely making my way to his 6 o'clock. The Mirage pilot makes this even easier by pulling hard on the stick. Now he's basically lost all of his speed. It looks like for a moment there he got distracted by that friendly F5, but that's all she wrote. A quick 6 check reveals the second Mirage. That poor bugger has probably been trying to rate with us this entire time, but has had no luck. He also looks rather slow, so this shouldn't take long. As you can see, it hasn't even been a full turn and it's already looking pretty bad for this Mirage. It's time for the gunshot of the century. Just kidding, I'm shit. As soon as I see him roll, I instinctively pull up into the vertical, as I thought he was going to reverse his turn, but that seems to not be the case. Despite only being an A9B, I think I could hit that Mirage if I fucking open the cockpit and threw a fucking rocket in. He's that slow. Having only 2,000 pounds of fuel left and having no more sidewinders, I think it's time to RTB. So basically, I'm of the opinion that the F4 is an S-tier aircraft, as it shows strength in all areas. It's good in a dogfight, it has a lot of missile power, and also gives you plentiful options for air to ground. I'm now going to leave you with a really bad landing, and Jester really makes sure he lets me know about it, like holy shit, he doesn't shut up.
Yep, that's going to be a spine replacement by Dr. Pernia. Yeah, when we first took off, we were badasses. Now we just have hard asses. Yeah, when we first took off, we were badasses. Now we just have hard asses. You got that love and feeling? Because I think I just lost mine. Forever.